Have you ever held a seemingly ordinary coin in your hand, only to realize it might be worth more than its face value, perhaps even hundreds of dollars more? Welcome back to the channel where hidden treasures are brought into the spotlight, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing numismatic mysteries that has sparked fascination among collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike: the 1981 PUSA $quarter coin. A coin that at first glance appears like any other circulated piece of currency but carries with it a historical significance and a value that has shocked even seasoned coin experts, with certain examples commanding an eye-watering $234 in value, a figure far beyond what most people would ever expect from a 25-cent piece, and the reasons why this coin has become a prized possession in the world of rare currency collecting is a tale rich in detail, anomalies, minting errors, economic conditions, and a slice of American minting history that unfolds like a captivating mystery novel. So make sure you watch till the very end, because you might be surprised to find out that you have one of these valuable coins tucked away in your own pocket change, waiting to be discovered. And once you understand the full story behind this coin, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. So let's journey back to the year 1981. A time when the United States Mint was working tirelessly to keep up with national demand for coinage and face the ongoing challenges of die wear, striking pressure inconsistencies, and changing economic dynamics, particularly in Philadelphia, where the P. mint mark denotes origin, and where the $quarter minted bore the image of George Washington on the obverse, a familiar and enduring image crafted from John Flanagan's original 1932 design. But what sets the 1981 $quarter apart from its peers is not merely its historical year but the unexpected value that has emerged from collector demand, production quirks, and the condition of surviving examples. And to understand this, one must delve into the microscopic world of die errors, planchet flaws, weak strikes, double dies, off-center minting, filled mint marks, and even the rare transitional errors where coins may have been struck on incorrect metal compositions or struck with mismatched dies, all of which contribute to the rarity and value of a coin that was never meant to be rare. And the 1981 $quarter, particularly in higher grades of preservation, such as MS-65 and above, have proven elusive in the wild, as this was a year known for widespread circulation, resulting in heavy wear on most coins, and thus, any 1981 $quarter that surfaces today in pristine uncirculated or mint state condition is already considered valuable simply because of its scarcity in that grade. But even more fascinating is the array of errors that have been documented on this coin, such as coins with die cracks that travel across George Washington's profile, or quarters exhibiting doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust," or in the date itself, which are known as double die obverse errors. And these anomalies are not only captivating to study, but they are also highly prized by error coin enthusiasts who understand just how rare it is to find significant doubling on coins from this specific year and mint. And then there are those few astounding examples where a 1981 $quarter may show signs of an off-metal strike, possibly struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination such as a nickel or a cent, causing noticeable differences in weight and sound that only become apparent when closely examined or tested with coin scales or metal analyzers. And then you have coins with off-center strikes, where the design elements are shifted significantly from their intended placement, revealing crescent-shaped blanks or missing legends, which are instantly recognizable and command strong premiums at auctions, especially when the off-center is more than 10% and the date remains fully visible, as collectors place enormous value on the visibility of the year in such errors. And the 1981 $quarter also sees examples of die clashes, where elements from the reverse design can be seen imprinted faintly on the obverse due to dies striking each other without a planchet between them, creating ghost-like impressions that fascinate error collectors. And these clash marks, while unintentional, are like signatures of a moment in the minting process where machines briefly went off script, etching a story into the coin's metal surface. And we must also consider coins with filled dies, where parts of the design are missing due to debris or grease clogging parts of the die, often resulting in missing letters, faded mint marks, or incomplete mottos, leading collectors to pay close attention to every millimeter of the coin's surface under magnification, hoping to spot the telltale signs of such an error. and while these individual characteristics are compelling on their own, what truly elevates the 1981 P quarter to the level of a $234 marvel is the intersection of these errors with condition rarity, as coins that possess both significant mint errors and a high mint state grade, certified by grading authorities like PCGS or NGC, become true showstoppers at auctions, where competition among collectors drives prices into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And this is not hypothetical, as actual auction records show that certified MS-66 and MS-67 examples of the 1981 P quarter have crossed the $200 mark multiple times, particularly when combined with visual appeal such as strong luster, minimal contact marks, and full strike details, which are uncommon for this issue given the production quality and volume of the era, and the historical backdrop makes it even more intriguing, as 1981 marked the final year before the introduction of the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin's second run in 1981, causing shifts in the mint's operations and priorities, which may have contributed to the increased variability in strike quality and oversight, leading to a greater number of coins escaping with minor to moderate defects that now turn into collectors' gold mines. And speaking of collectors, the rising popularity of coin collecting during the digital era has caused a renaissance in numismatic interest, where even amateur collectors are now scanning their pocket change with loupes and apps in search of coins like the 1981 P quarter, whose real-world value has been hidden in plain sight, and social media has played a crucial role in elevating stories of these coins, where viral TikToks, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels showcase jaw-dropping finds and encourage viewers to become treasure hunters in their own homes, often discovering that their change jar or an old drawer contains a mini fortune waiting to be identified. And in that world, the 1981 P quarter stands as a beacon, a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and chance can come together in the form of a tiny metal disc with enormous hidden value. And if you're wondering how to tell if your 1981 P quarter might be worth something close to $234, start by checking its condition, looking for mint luster, clear details, and absence of heavy scratches, then inspect the coin under magnification to identify any of the previously mentioned errors or unusual features. And if you believe your coin has potential, consider sending it to a professional grading service for authentication and certification, which not only preserves the coin but also significantly increases its value by adding legitimacy and marketability. And remember, even if your coin isn't a jackpot, learning to identify minting anomalies and appreciating the rich detail and variation in U.S. coinage is a hobby that combines history, art, and a touch of treasure hunting. And with time, even the most modest collections can become valuable both sentimentally and financially. So don't underestimate the power of knowledge when it comes to collecting coins, especially quarters like the 1981 P, which bridge the gap between everyday currency and elite collectibles. And as the numismatic market continues to grow and evolve, early awareness and education can give you a tremendous edge. So next time you hold a 1981 quarter, look a little closer, because it might just be the rare gem worth $234 or more that changes your perception of coin collecting forever. And if you found this deep dive into the hidden value of a seemingly common coin fascinating, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next discovery that could be hiding right in your pocket. Next, have you ever imagined that a simple pocket change could secretly hold a value higher than your weekly groceries? What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 1996 P quarter dollar coin from the United States, yes, the one that might be lying at the bottom of a jar in your kitchen, could be worth a staggering $194 and even more to collectors and coin hunters around the world, transforming what was once only 25 cents into big money and historical significance that defies expectations? Welcome to a fascinating journey that uncovers how a small, silver-toned piece of American history has sparked conversations among numismatists, created hype in online auctions, and built a legacy of mystery and obsession for collectors who believe they've struck gold, or in this case, struck quarter. The 1996 P quarter dollar isn't just an old coin, it's a living artifact of a year packed with presidential politics, Olympic triumphs, and a U.S. mint that continued to churn out millions of coins. Yet among those millions, certain pieces emerged with rare characteristics, minting anomalies, and imperfections so unique that they changed the value narrative forever. With a Philadelphia Mint mark boldly placed under the motto, "In God We Trust," this coin sits as a prime candidate for serious valuation when it displays highly sought-after errors like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, missing clad layers, and die breaks that become almost artistic expressions of industrial missteps. These errors, some visible only under magnification and others glaring to the naked eye, make this coin more than metal. They make it a treasure that has recently gained traction on auction platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and local estate sales where lucky individuals unknowingly cash in on coins sitting in drawers for decades. The combination of historical context, craftsmanship, and unpredictable flaws from the mint has fueled a collecting frenzy, and the 1996 P-quarter with its precise characteristics has moved beyond just coin dealers. It now occupies center stage in viral TikToks, YouTube Shorts, numismatic blogs, and social media pages dedicated to finding value in the overlooked. The growing interest around this quarter's value hinges on several compelling factors that amplify its worth. The metallic composition shift of modern quarters makes pre-1999 coins more desirable, especially when they maintain sharp edges, strong luster, and low circulation wear. A 1996 P-quarter that has retained its original sheen with no post-mint damage is already a candidate for grading by PCGS or NGC, two leading certification companies, and once these coins are slabbed with MS66, MS67, or above, their auction values skyrocket exponentially. But it's the era coins that often tell the juiciest tales, coins with die cuts, partial collars, broad strikes, and machine doubling not only make the coin rare but fuel intense bidding wars, with collectors eager to own something so inherently flawed yet uniquely perfect in their eyes. And in the case of the 1996 P-quarter dollar, recent attention from collectors has shown that certain specimens can exceed face value by hundreds of dollars due to their condition and rarity, especially when discovered in unsearched bank rolls, inherited coin hoards, or in forgotten childhood piggy banks. These quarters have become symbols of numismatic curiosity and reward, bridging generations of collectors who search tirelessly for that one coin that could turn 25 cents into nearly $200 overnight. From its place in vending machines and parking meters to now gracing the velvet pouches of serious investors, the 1996 P-quarter is more than just currency. It's a collectible narrative waiting to be unraveled. Coin experts agree that while the mass mintage numbers may suggest commonality, the finer nuances, die state, strike sharpness, error presence, and preserved quality, make all the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Beyond monetary worth, it holds historical relevance too, being part of the final years before the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Which makes this coin the tail end of an era and a collector's last look at the classic eagle reverse before it was forever changed. In today's economic climate where inflation reshapes the value of money, coins like the 1996 P-quarter offer a physical reminder that value isn't just tied to denomination, but to history, rarity, and the stories engraved into every groove. Imagine holding such a piece in your hand, inspecting its rim, observing its luster, and knowing you've got something hundreds are hunting for online, something that even now continues to spark bidding wars in the coin community and beyond. Every day, average individuals discover that a coin they once ignored holds unexpected potential, often starting with just a Google search or a YouTube video like this one, and it opens up a world they never imagined, one filled with dates, mints, die varieties, strike designations, and auction records, and the 1996 P-quarter is fast becoming a crown jewel in that world. So if you're wondering whether your loose change deserves a second glance, let this be the coin that makes you start looking closer, because the world of numismatics rewards the curious, the meticulous, and the lucky. Dig into your pocket, skin your couch cushions, check the coin jars under your bed, because your very own $194 fortune could be hiding in plain sight, stamped with a modest P, and holding more value than you ever thought possible from something so small. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting and the shocking value of everyday money, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't miss the next hidden gem in your pocket change. Next, today we're talking about one special coin, a true numismatic marvel that has captivated collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. The 1973 $quarter coin from the United States of America that, thanks to a combination of rare mint errors, production anomalies, and collector demand, has reached an incredible valuation of $149 in the collector's market, transforming what was once a simple 25-cent piece into something far more valuable, historic, and intriguing. And by the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand why this coin is so highly prized, but you might even be inspired to start combing through your own spare change looking for signs that you've got a tiny piece of history worth far more than its face value. Because the story of the 1973 $quarter is not just about money, it's about rarity, production quirks, unexpected mistakes, the art and science of minting, and the human fascination with turning everyday items into sought-after collectibles. So let's unravel everything there is to know about this iconic coin, starting with the historical context, because back in 1973 the United States Mint was still issuing coins in copper-nickel-clad composition, which had replaced silver in most denominations several years earlier due to rising metal costs, and while the composition itself was standard, what wasn't standard were the occasional production errors that crept into the minting process, and those rare occurrences are what make some of these coins incredibly valuable today, because even a small mistake like a misaligned die, a double strike, a clipped planchet, or off-center strike can cause a coin to be extremely rare and therefore highly sought after by collectors, and the 1973 $quarter is a textbook example of this phenomenon, as there are multiple known variants of this coin featuring significant minting errors that directly affect their value, such as the double die obverse error where the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," or even the date, 1973, appear to be doubled due to a die hubbing misalignment during the production process, creating a ghost-like double image effect that's instantly recognizable to trained eyes and highly desirable to collectors who cherish such numismatic oddities, or the off-center strike errors where the entire design is shifted to one side, sometimes as much as 10% to 20% off-center, revealing a blank crescent of planchet and giving the coin a lopsided look that is both strange and valuable, especially when the date remains clearly visible, or the broad strike errors where the coin is struck outside the retaining collar and spreads out wider than normal, giving it a flattened and expanded appearance, or the even rarer and more lucrative wrong planchet errors, where the quarter design was accidentally struck onto a blank intended for a different denomination like a dime, or even a foreign coin, which results in a smaller or lighter quarter that instantly catches attention and can sell for hundreds depending on the degree of error and condition of the coin. And these kinds of minting mistakes are incredibly rare because of the rigorous quality control standards at the United States Mint. But every now and then, an error coin makes it out into circulation unnoticed, and decades later, someone stumbles upon it and realizes they're holding something truly special. Which is why collectors are always hunting for these hidden gems, and why a coin like the 1973 $quarter can end up being worth $149 or more if it contains any of these valuable errors. And that's not all, because condition also plays a huge role in determining value. Collectors look for coins with high-grade surfaces, minimal wear, clear strikes, and strong details, especially in areas like Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the sharpness of the lettering and rim. With uncirculated or mint state coins graded MS-65 or higher often commanding premium prices, especially when combined with an error or unique feature, and some 1973 $quarters with striking luster, no contact marks, and clear details have even reached higher price points depending on the rarity and demand at the time. And beyond the technical aspects, part of the coin's mystique comes from its age and its place in American history, coming at the tail end of the Vietnam War, during the Watergate scandal and the early 1970s energy crisis, a time of massive cultural, political, and economic upheaval, which adds a layer of historical intrigue to this coin, because coins are not just metal, they're time capsules, capturing the materials, technology, and spirit of the age in which they were minted, and for many collectors, owning a 1973 quarter is a way to connect to that pivotal era in American life. But let's go even deeper, because among the varieties discovered over the years, numismatists have cataloged specific mint mark anomalies in the 1973 quarter series as well, such as repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, where the D or S mint mark, depending on whether it was struck in Denver or San Francisco, appears to have been stamped more than once in slightly different positions due to a misalignment in the punching process, a small but striking error that can elevate a coin's value significantly. And there have even been rumors and reports of no mint mark 1973 quarters from the Philadelphia Mint exhibiting unique planchet characteristics or unexpected die polishing lines, all of which contribute to the uniqueness and desirability of these coins. And while not every 1973 quarter is worth a fortune, the presence of any of these anomalies, whether it's a die break, cud, off-center strike, double die, broad strike, wrong planchet, or RPM, can boost its value well above the $149 mark, depending on the coin's condition and market demand. Which is why collectors and dealers frequently scour coin rolls, estate sales, flea markets, and coin shows looking for overlooked pieces. And the fascinating thing is that these errors can often go unnoticed by casual observers for decades, passed from hand to hand in everyday transactions, living an ordinary life until one day someone with a sharp eye and a little knowledge realizes they've found a rare and valuable item, and this possibility, that something extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight, is part of what makes the world of coin collecting so thrilling and addicting to many people. And if you're wondering whether you might have a valuable 1973 quarter in your possession, here are a few things to look out for. First, examine the coin under good lighting and maybe with a magnifying glass to look for doubling in the lettering or date. Then check the alignment of the design to see if it's off-center. Next, measure the coin's diameter and weight to see if it matches the standard specs of 24.26 millimeters and 5.67 grams. If it's off, it could be a wrong planchet strike. Also look closely at the edges and rims for signs of cuds or die breaks, and pay special attention to the mint mark for possible repunching, because spotting just one of these anomalies could mean you found a coin worth far more than its face value. And it's worth noting that demand for era coins has been growing in recent years as more people take interest in alternative investments, collectibles, and the thrill of treasure hunting, and as that demand grows, so too does the value of rare coins like the 1973 quarter, making now a great time to learn about these pieces, start your own collection, or get your existing coins appraised by a reputable dealer or grading service. And remember, grading services like PCGS and NGC can help authenticate and certify your coin's condition and rarity, which often results in a higher sale price and more interest from buyers if you ever decide to sell. And beyond the financial reward, there's something deeply satisfying about discovering a rare coin, learning its story, and preserving it for future generations, because coins like the 1973 quarter represent more than just money. They're fragments of our shared history, tangible links to the past, and symbols of the tiny accidents that can create great value. So whether you're a longtime collector, a casual enthusiast, or a complete beginner, the tale of the 1973 quarter dollar proves that everyday items can hide extraordinary stories and surprising worth. And who knows, you just might find one in your pocket change today. So go ahead and start looking, because your next big discovery could be closer than you think. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins and want to stay updated with more exciting stories, discoveries, and tips that could help you turn your spare change into serious cash, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next treasure hunt. Next, today we're diving deep into the incredible world of the 1990 60 quarter dollar coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of change that, due to its intriguing history, production quirks, and various minting anomalies, can now be worth as much as $242 or even more in collectors' markets, making it one of the more unexpected treasures to come out of the United States Mint in the late 20th century. So buckle up as we journey through the mystery, the minting mistakes, and the numismatic nuances that transformed this 25-cent coin into a valuable collector's item, a marvel for coin enthusiasts and investors alike, starting with its background and then delving into the endless possibilities that turned it into big money. The 1990 60 quarter dollar was minted in Denver, as indicated by the DE mint mark, and over 900 million of these coins were produced that year. But not all of them were created equal, and therein lies the magic. While the mass production aimed to meet the country's commerce demands, it also opened the door to numerous errors and inconsistencies that slipped through the strict quality controls, and those very mistakes are what drive collectors wild today. Some of the most notable errors seen on the 1990 60 quarter include off-center strikes, which occur when the coin is not properly aligned during minting, resulting in an image that is skewed or missing portions of the design. With these errors, the greater the misalignment, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, allowing the error to be authenticated and appreciated by seasoned collectors. Then there are double dies, where elements of the coin's design appear double due to a misalignment in the die itself during the minting process. This doubling can be most commonly spotted in the inscriptions like "Liberty in God We Trust" or "United States of America," as well as the date and denomination, and depending on how prominent and rare the doubling is, values can soar tremendously. Now, if you happen to come across a 1990 60 quarter with a clipped planchet error, that's another jackpot. Clipped planchets are coins where a portion of the metal blank is missing before the coin is struck, resulting in a coin that appears to have a crescent or curved chunk missing. These errors are both dramatic and desirable, especially when they occur in combination with other errors. And speaking of combinations, it's not uncommon for collectors to pay even more for a 1990 60 quarter that displays multiple errors at once, say an off-center strike coupled with a die crack or a misaligned die clash, which happens when the coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring unintended images onto the die surface, which then appears on all subsequent coins struck with that die. This kind of dramatic minting mistake not only affects the visual appeal of the coin but also its perceived rarity, and thus its value. Then there's the matter of die breaks and cuds, which are raised blobs of metal that appear when part of the die breaks off and leaves an unintentional design element on the coin. These defects are visually distinctive and add to the coin's uniqueness, enhancing its desirability among collectors. The most fascinating thing about the 1990 60 quarter is that despite being part of a widely circulated batch, some coins emerged with subtle but significant variations that set them apart. For example, the strength of the strike can vary from coin to coin. Some quarters have unusually weak strikes, leading to soft or incomplete images, often due to worn dies or improper pressure during the minting process. These weak strikes may seem like minor flaws to the untrained eye, but to the collector, they can signal a rare production issue, especially if combined with other irregularities. Other valuable characteristics include coins with rotated dies, in which the reverse and obverse designs are not aligned correctly. Typically, when you flip a coin vertically, the design on the back should be upright, but rotated die coins have the reverse design skewed at an angle, sometimes even sideways or upside down, and these unusual alignments greatly increase the desirability of the coin in the collector community. Let's also talk about coins struck on the wrong planchet, which is one of the most sought-after minting errors in numismatics. Occasionally, a quarter may be mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination such as a nickel, dime, or even a foreign coin. When this happens, the resulting coin is not only undersized or oddly colored, but also a rare minting blunder that collectors will pay hundreds for, especially if it retains identifiable date and mint mark features. Now, the 1990 60 quarter has also been known to exhibit signs of die fatigue, which occurs when a coin die is used past its optimal lifespan, leading to coins with fuzzy, blurry, or degraded design details. These coins can often be mistaken for worn circulation pieces, but experts know how to identify true die deterioration through careful examination of design details like Washington's hair, the eagle's wings on the reverse, and lettering edges. Another aspect that adds immense value to the 1990 60 quarter is toning. Coins that develop unique coloration due to oxidation or environmental exposure can fetch high prices, especially when the toning creates appealing rainbow-like hues or vibrant patinas. Though not technically an error, Attractive natural toning is highly prized for its beauty and rarity. Now let's not forget that provenance and condition play crucial roles in determining a coin's value. A 1990-60 quarter with an error, if preserved in mint state or graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, can command far higher prices than one that's heavily worn or damaged. Coins graded MS-65 and above are especially rare when they also exhibit one or more of the aforementioned minting anomalies. It's also worth noting that the 1990-60 quarter came during a time when interest in coin collecting was steadily growing in the United States, fueled in part by the internet and new online marketplaces that allowed collectors to share, buy, and sell coins with greater ease. This surge in interest contributed to greater demand for error coins and helped raise awareness about the unique quirks of coins like the 1990-60 quarter. Over the years, specific examples of 1990-60 quarters with high-quality errors have made headlines at auctions and in online forums, driving up interest and pushing prices higher, especially as seasoned collectors look to complete error sets or acquire strikingly unique coins that stand out in their collections. Among these, coins with dramatic off-center strikes, full visible dates, and doubled dies have been known to fetch over $200 and sometimes much more depending on market conditions and collector demand. And as inflation rises and precious metal discussions grow louder, even though the 1990-60 quarter is a clad coin without precious metal content, its numismatic value continues to rise based on rarity and collector interest. That's the paradox of modern coin collecting. Face value means little when historical context, minting error, and market desire take center stage. Another phenomenon that plays into the value of the 1990-60 quarter is the growing popularity of coin roll hunting, where individuals search through bank rolls of coins to find rare or error specimens. Countless stories abound of people finding valuable 1990-60 quarters mixed in with everyday change or tucked away in forgotten jars, their value overlooked for decades until a sharp-eyed enthusiast recognizes the error and cashes in. This treasure hunt dynamic adds a layer of excitement to coin collecting and continuously breathes new life into coins like the 1990-60 quarter. It's also important to mention that grading companies have certified dozens of 1990-60 quarters with errors, further legitimizing their value in the eyes of the collector market. When a reputable service assigns a high grade to an error coin, it not only boosts its marketability but also its price potential, and in this way, even small errors can become significant moneymakers, particularly when backed by professional certification and demand from serious buyers. Moving forward, as the number of surviving error coins naturally decreases due to circulation wear, loss, and damage, the remaining well-preserved specimens become even more desirable, and the scarcity factor kicks in, contributing to price appreciation, especially for high-grade examples or coins with visually striking errors. The bottom line is that the 1990-60 quarter, though common at first glance, holds within it a treasure trove of opportunity for those who know what to look for. From off-center strikes to wrong planchet errors, doubled dies, die clashes, cuds, and rotated dies, each variation adds a layer of uniqueness and intrigue that can elevate a simple quarter to a prized possession worth hundreds of dollars or more. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or just someone curious about that odd coin in your pocket, understanding the story, errors, and value of the 1990-60 quarter opens up a world of discovery, passion, and potentially profit. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glass ready, and your curiosity sharp, because you never know when a humble piece of pocket change could turn out to be a collectible gem that changes your financial fortune. Last, today we're going to unravel the story behind the 1992 quarter dollar coin, a coin that originally had a face value of just 25 cents but is now catching collectors' attention and commanding prices as high as $154 in the collector's market, all due to a combination of historical context, minting errors, production anomalies, and growing collector demand that have turned this ordinary-looking coin into a sought-after treasure. And as we explore the hidden secrets, striking mistakes, and mind-blowing minting errors of the 1992 quarter, you'll realize why this coin has gained such an iconic reputation in the world of numismatics and why you should start looking closely at every coin that crosses your path, because your next big find could literally be hiding in your pocket change right now. And to understand why the 1992 quarter dollar has become such a prized possession among collectors and numismatic enthusiasts, we need to travel back to the early 1990s, a period of transition in coin production in the United States when the U.S. Mint was focused on modernization, and the Philadelphia Mint, designated by the P mint mark on this coin, was one of the busiest facilities, producing millions of coins every year. And in 1992, despite the seemingly uneventful minting cycle, certain errors slipped through the quality control system that would later make a limited number of these coins incredibly valuable, and among the most notable of these errors were off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and most famously the double die obverse and reverse errors, each of which contributed to the uniqueness and rarity of individual coins, boosting their desirability and thus their market value significantly. For instance, the double die error on some 1992 quarters can be observed when the design elements on the coins, such as the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" or "United States of America," appear to be duplicated or shadowed due to a misalignment. During the hubbing process, when the dies used to strike the coin receive multiple impressions from the hub, and if they are misaligned during any of these impressions, the resulting die will produce coins with visible doubling that is immediately noticeable to the trained eye or even to the casual observer with a magnifying glass. And such coins are rare because the mint typically catches these errors early in the production process. But a few make it out into circulation before being discovered and removed, and when collectors come across them, they are quickly snatched up at high prices due to their unique characteristics. And another form of valuable error found in the 1992 quarter is the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank planchet, the flat metal disc that eventually becomes the coin, is not properly aligned within the striking chamber, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and part of the blank metal surface is exposed. And depending on the degree of misalignment, such errors can be minor or extremely dramatic, with the most valuable examples being those that are off-center by at least 15 to 30% while still displaying a full date and mint mark, making them identifiable and collectible. And these coins are often considered miniature works of art because they showcase the imperfect beauty of the minting process. And collectors love them precisely because they deviate from the standard. Another high-value error often seen in the 1992 quarters involves die cracks, which happen when the dies used to strike the coins begin to wear down or develop small fractures over time, and these fractures result in raised lines on the coin's surface where metal fills in the cracks during striking, creating what is known as a die crack error. And while some die cracks are minor and run along the coin's edge, others can be dramatic, spanning across key features such as George Washington's portrait or the inscriptions. And the most dramatic and unusual die crack errors are often nicknamed by collectors with terms like lightning bolt crack or Scarface Washington, and these coins can draw high prices depending on how visible and unique the cracks are, adding another layer of complexity and collectability to the 1992 quarter series. And yet another intriguing error that increases the value of these coins is the broad strike error, which occurs when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally shapes it, resulting in a coin that spreads out more than usual, often appearing slightly larger and with flattened or missing rims. And though such errors are typically easy to spot, finding one with a clear date and mint mark from 1992 and in good condition is relatively rare, and such examples often attract strong interest from collectors who specialize in minting anomalies. Furthermore, coins that show signs of being struck on the wrong planchet, such as those intended for dimes, foreign coins, or experimental blanks, are especially rare and valuable. And when these types of planchet errors appear on a 1992 quarter, the coin not only has historical and monetary value but also becomes a conversation piece. And some of these wrong planchet 1992 quarters weigh noticeably less or more than standard quarters and exhibit strange coloring or metallic characteristics, all of which are indicators that the coin was struck on an unintended planchet, making them especially appealing to collectors. And when we combine all these errors and possibilities together, from double dies to off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and wrong planchets, we begin to understand why the 1992 quarter dollar has emerged as such a valuable item in the collector's market despite its modest original purpose as a simple 25-cent coin. And while not every 1992 quarter is worth $154, the ones that possess these rare and fascinating errors definitely are, especially if they are in good condition with minimal wear. And the grading of such coins plays a crucial role in determining their value, with uncirculated or mint state coins fetching significantly higher prices, and the process of grading assesses a coin's physical condition based on luster, strike quality, presence of contact marks, and overall eye appeal, and collectors often seek out MS-63 or higher graded examples for their collections. And when these rare errors are combined with high grades, the value can skyrocket, sometimes even surpassing the $154 mark depending on demand and auction dynamics. And the appeal of the 1992 quarter isn't just in its errors, but also in its role as a time capsule of minting technology and quality control practices of its era, revealing how even in an age of modern machinery, human oversight, wear and tear on equipment, and subtle anomalies can produce accidental masterpieces that fuel the excitement of coin hunting and numismatic study, and with growing interest in coin collecting, especially among younger generations and social media influencers who spotlight rare coin finds. The value and demand for coins like the 1992 quarter have only increased, and videos, blogs, and forums dedicated to coin errors often showcase examples of valuable 1992 quarters found in circulation, garage sales, inherited collections, or tucked away in old coin jars, which fuels further public interest and motivates amateur collectors to examine their own change more closely. And the mystique of potentially finding a coin worth $154 or more in ordinary circulation has created a mini craze for coins from the early 1990s. And while many coins of that era were produced in the millions, only a tiny fraction possessed the rare characteristics that make them valuable, which is why expert collectors emphasize the importance of careful inspection using tools like magnifying glasses, digital scales, and comparison guides to spot those rare features that separate valuable coins from common ones. And in summary, the 1992 quarter dollar coin stands as a perfect example of how imperfection, rarity, and historical context can intersect to create value far beyond the coin's intended monetary worth. And as we continue exploring the exciting universe of valuable coins, remember that treasures can hide in plain sight, and the 1992 quarter is proof that sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can turn out to be extraordinary. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the latest updates, discoveries, and fascinating stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles, because who knows, your next great find might be waiting for you in your spare change.